Hello everybody, how are you doing? Personally, I'm doing good. Welcome in our today's lesson. As you can see, we are learning about linear motion, Form 2 Mathematics. Welcome. The distance between two towns A and B is 150 kilometers. A car starts from town A to at 10 a.m. and travels at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour towards B. A transit lorry travels from B at 10:15 a.m. towards town A at an average speed of 40 kilometers per hour. At what time will the two vehicles meet? Yeah, so one thing we're supposed to do with linear questions in mathematics is that as you read the question, you are supposed to analyze the question step by step. So in our lesson today, I had already solved the questions, so we're just going to go through the solutions together to make you understand better. So as you can see, starting from the first point, the distance between two towns A and B. As you can see here, I have my line here just to represent the distance between town A and town B is 150 kilometers. And then a car starts from A. As you can see, I have my car here from A at 10:00 a.m. and it travels at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour. I'm just analyzing the question. Then a transit lorry, as you can see again, we have this arrow to show that the car is moving from A towards B. Then now we have the lorry. As you can see, I've written my lorry here travels from B at 10:15 a.m. towards A. That is where you have the arrow there to show the direction at which the lorry is moving at an average speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Then the question is, at what time will the two vehicles meet? Time. The keyword here is time. We are trying to look at the time. At what time will the two vehicles meet? So for us to get the time for the two vehicles to meet, we are first supposed to get the distance covered by the car after 15 minutes. After 15 minutes means what? Remember, the car started its journey earlier than the lorry. That is 15 minutes before the lorry starts its journey. So we are supposed to know the distance that the car had covered before the lorry starts its journey. And that is, the difference in time is 15 minutes. That is why we are looking for the distance covered by the car after 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour, and we know that distance is given by time times speed from the formula that we are used in, which is speed is equals to distance over time. From here we can try to get time. That is it. That is where we have this. Distance is equals to time times speed. Yeah, so we have a quarter of an hour which is 15 minutes times 80 kilometers per hour, and then our answer is supposed to be in kilometers because it is distance, and that is giving us 20 kilometers. So the car had traveled 20 kilometers before the lorry started its journey at 10:15. Let us go on. Then we have the distance covered together. That is now the distance between the car and the lorry as they are all on the move. That will be 15 minus 20. Why? Well, not 15, sorry, 150 minus 20. Because the total distance to be covered is 150 kilometers. And then now 20 kilometers has already been covered by the car. So we have a total of 130 kilometers. That is now the distance between the two vehicles is 130 kilometers. Yes, so that is the distance they are now competing for them to meet. So when we have the distance between the two vehicles, we are supposed to look for the relative speed. And how do we get the relative speed? I know you know that. Say when the vehicles are moving towards each other, they are moving in opposite direction. That is what I'm trying to show here. Opposite direction or towards each other. We are supposed to add their speeds. As you can see, that is what I have done. Yes, and in our previous lesson I tried to explain why we are adding the speeds, and then when they are moving the same direction, why are we supposed to subtract the speeds? If you have not checked my previous lesson still on linear motion, kindly go back after this and watch. I have a very good explanation on why are we adding and why do we subtract during same direction. So now, because now in this case the vehicles are moving the opposite direction, or they are moving towards each other, we have added the speeds to get 120 kilometers per hour. So now the time taken for them to meet will be as we had seen, we'll have from the formula that we had written here, speed is equals to distance over time. Time is given by distance over speed. That is why we have this. Time is given by distance over speed, and now the distance is 130 from what we had got here. Then the speed, now in this case we are using the relative speed, just as we have got above here, 120 kilometers per hour. So now we'll have 130 divided by 120 is giving us 1 hour 5 minutes. Can confirm that. Then now so they took 1 hour 5 minutes to meet. So now the time they met will be 10:15. That is the time the lorry started its journey. Look at that. I've taken 10:15, then plus the 1 hour 5 minutes used for them to meet, or taken for them to meet, and it is giving 11:20 a.m. So at 11:20 a.m. the vehicles met. Somebody can ask, why have we not used the time for the car? That is the 10 a.m., the time that the car started its journey. Well, we can also use that, no problem. But now you have to remember that above the 1 hour, and 5 minutes, we also have another 15 minutes we need to add. So we'll have, taking that direction. No one interesting being in linear motion, you have many ways of solving the question. Not a must that you approach it from a strict point. You can either decide to work it from this side or this side, all is well. So we'll have, alternatively here, we can have the 10 a.m. The 10 a.m. and then we had 1 hour 5 minutes. This is giving us 11:05. Look at this, which is different from this. You know, these are some of the common mistakes learners do, and they don't know where the problem comes from. When you take the direction, be very keen to note the time. So after getting 11:15, we are supposed to add the 15 minutes that the car had used or had taken before the lorry started its journey. So we have 0, we carry 1 there, 2, and then 11 a.m. So this is just the same as this. Yeah, so you need to be very careful to make sure that you don't make a mistake on that. But sorry, I always encourage learners to use the path which is giving less work. And just use the time for the lorry because the lorry started its journey later. Especially the side whereby the vehicle or the object started the journey later, it's always the lesser part or the side which has less working. You don't need to confuse yourself on the way and tend to forget some steps. So use the side which requires and again, you also have a lot to do in those 2 hours. You have a lot to do. So now imagine we are all now at the 13th minute and we are still on one question. Yeah, and this question is for around 4 marks. So you need to be very careful not to give yourself a lot of work. Okay, I've talked so much on that. So let us move to the next question. A cyclist covers a distance of 45 kilometers at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour and a further 45 kilometers at 15 kilometers per hour. Find his average speed for the journey. So in this case, we are now looking for average speed. Yeah, this is the last subtopic on the topic linear motion form 2. And one thing you're supposed to know about average speed is that some students make a mistake and just go on, take the first speed, the second speed, add and then divide by 2. No, yes, teachers, we see a lot of things in this mathematics, but it's only that you just need to pay attention to some details and all it will be well. So time, we first supposed to get the time taken at 10 kilometers per hour. What is guiding you to go on with all these steps? The formula. I think I should have written the formula just before anything else. I wrote it later as I was continuing the working. Average speed is equals to total distance covered over the total time taken. So it's supposed to be here. The average speed maybe it's equal to the total distance covered over the total time taken. Yeah. So this with the formula, it will guide you through on what you are doing. So we want to get the total distance covered. So not at this point we already have the distance. We want to get the total time taken first, because we are told that this cyclist was covering 45 kilometers at an average speed of 10 kilometers per hour. So we'll have taken time, which is given by distance over speed, and the distance is 45 kilometers. The speed is 10 kilometers per hour, and that is why we are getting 4.5 hours. So covering 45 kilometers with a speed of 10 kilometers per hour, the cyclist took 4.5 hours. That is 4 hours and 30 minutes. Then time taken at 15 kilometers per hour. Remember, it further went for other 45 kilometers. Now it accelerated. It increased the speed, the 15 kilometers per hour. Then that is supposed to be the distance 45 over 15, the speed, which is giving 3 hours. So in total, the cyclist took 4.5 hours plus 3 hours. That's a total of 7.5 hours. So now we have the total time taken. Then we proceed and see the average speed, as we had just discussed later or before. We have the total distance over the total time taken. Now let us see the total distance covered. As you can see from the question, first the cyclist covered 45 kilometers, then later further 45 kilometers, a total of 90 kilometers. So that is the total distance covered. Going back to the formula to substitute what we have got, we'll have total distance covered 90 kilometers over total time taken. We have just seen that is 7.5 hours. So substituting, we'll have 7.5 hours there, and then the average speed will be equal to 90 over 7.5, which is equal to 12 kilometers per hour. Yes, seen that? So that is the average speed. Yes, so I know you have followed those tips very well, and you have understood them. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section. I will really respond to you. If you are still here, thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you have not yet subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Kindly click that subscribe button, subscribe, and I will really appreciate for that, and more content will be coming in. So in our next lesson, we are also going to discuss on linear motion, another question, and this time round will be a long structured question of 10 marks. We shall see how it will go down. So make sure you are tuned, because more good content is coming. Please subscribe. Till next time, bye bye.